Hey there, nation. Welcome to the show. We help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and now it's time for another edition of Tales from the Underhive. This is battle report number 37. It is a shootout scenario that is fought between my two friends, Sergeant Sigmarine of the Sleeping Dogs with his house Delaque gang, versus my other friend, Sister Serial of Precinct 13 of the Adeptus Arbites Enforcers. So this is a shootout scenario. We're going to talk about exactly how that scenario works out here in a little bit. Pretty interesting to see these two gangs kind of throw it down once again. The last time these two gangs kind of tango, they did so in the tombs where they fought over different packages of illegal goods. This time they're going to be walking down the Lonely Mile and facing each other off. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put some background music and show you guys the rosters for both these gangs. If you want to see exactly what the gangs are consisting of, please feel free to pause and take a look at your own leisure. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get it on. Alright people, let's go on top of the scenario rules as well as the point for this one. So you can see both these gangs are now on top of the freeway in the Lonely Mile. Pretty much how the shootout scenario works is that each gang takes 1 inch advance towards each other up to 8 inches until they're eventually 8 inches apart. And each time that they advance to each other, they roll a d6. On a score of 1 through 5, that is the number of points that they earn for that round. And a 6 counts as being 0 points. The idea is that both gangs roll off until one of these gangs break 15 points. The moment that one of these gangs break 15 points, they do quick draw, they roll for their initiative. They roll a d6, adding their initiative to it, as well as any bonuses if they use a pistol, which is a +1 bonus if they have pistols and they decide to use those. In which case, they then determine their shooting order. They then shoot it out in the order that they have for the shootout initiative tests, and then eventually they just carry on like a normal game of Necromunda after that point. As you can see, both gangs actually have 3 members on each side. On the left-hand side, you have the Sleeping Dogs. You have Painless Joe, Mr. Smug, as well as Napalm Ned. And on the right-hand side, you have 3 members of the Precinct 13 Bravo team. You have Judge Hershey, Judge Mason, as well as Judge Herschel as well. And so what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, we'll play some background music real fast, show you exactly what the point value is for each gang and each round that they take advancing towards each other, and then we'll talk about what happens during the shootout. So sit back, ladies and gentlemen, relax, and prepare to see how this one goes. Alright, so after 9 rounds of some pretty intense die rolling, both these gangs finally quick draw. The Sleeping Dogs actually broke first for the rank of 15 points, with 1 point over that, 16 points, and our quick draw result goes in this order. So Judge Hershey would go first, followed by Painless Joe. After him comes Judge Mason, followed by Napalm Ned, then comes Judge Herschel and Mr. Smugs. There's a lot of back and forth between these gangs. So basically these guys roll off, they take shots, and we'll talk exactly what happened at the end of the quick draw. So at the end of the quick draw, basically the members of Precinct 13 goes very first. We didn't have 2 guys that go down for the Sleeping Dogs. Unfortunately, none of the Sleeping Dogs were able to wound any of the judges for Precinct 13. However, Painless Joe as well as Mr. Smoke are currently down. So because of that, both those guys are just kind of laying there bleeding out. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and both gangs roll for initiative. So this is the top of turn number 1 for Precinct 13. They won the initiative. This photo is taken directly after the move phase. As you can see, all 3 members of the gang decide to charge forward as quick as they possibly can, which makes sense because Judge Hershey, when he charges into Painless Joe, during the combat phase, he'll automatically go out. Same thing with Judge Mason when he charges directly into Mr. Smug, he will also automatically go down to in the combat phase. The only thing they would have to worry about is Judge Herschel as well as Napalm Ned fighting out, and see exactly what happens from that point. So then he's shooting, we go directly to the combat phase. As you can see, both Judge Herschel as well as Judge Hershey had no problem taking out their 2 fallen comrades. Judge Mason and Napalm Ned are now fighting out in close combat. In the end, Judge Mason ended with a combat score of 9 versus Napalm Ned's combat score of 6, which ends up being a difference of 3 different hits. Needless to say, Judge Mason inflicted 3 strength 4 hits onto Napalm Ned and took that guy out of action as well. As you can see, only 1 gang is down remaining now, which is Precinct 13, and that pretty much brings us to the end of the game, ladies and gentlemen. So with that being said, we're going to go to the post game and talk about exactly what happened to each gang, because this battle report is now officially over. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the post-game. We talk about exactly what happens to each of the gangs at the end of each of the battle reports. Starting off with Precinct 13. For injuries, none of the members of the Bravo team got injured on that part, so they don't have to worry about taking any injury rolls. However, for advancements, all 3 judges, Judge Hershey, Mason, and Herschel, also advanced. Let's go and talk about those guys. Judge Hershey actually advanced 3 times. Judge Hershey learned the crack shot skill, the feint skill, as got +1 to his wounds, so now Judge Hershey's even deadlier heavy for his Bravo team. Next up, we had Judge Mason, who advanced twice. He has +1 to his attacks as well as +1s to his wounds, so now that guy's even deadlier in close combat and a little bit more durable. And then Judge Herschel leveled up once and got +1 to his wound as well. For the territory, Precinct 13 has no territory, so because they don't have to worry about doing that or the merchant rolls, because that doesn't happen either. The new gang rating for Bravo team is now at 1,443 points, and Precinct 13 entirely as a whole is at 3,292 points, and the current record for Precinct 13 is now at 6 wins as well as 3 losses, so they're doing pretty good for themselves. Next up is the Sleeping Dogs. For injuries, Painless Joe got a chest wound, so because he has -1 to his toughness, so now he's only toughness 2, so he's going to be really easy to injure now. And Mr. Smug made a full recovery, same thing with Napalm Ned. For the advancements, none of these gang members made any advancements because they just didn't earn enough experience points. They worked their territories, earned 65 credits, and in the end they purchased Carapace armor for Painless Joe, so that way he's a little bit more tougher to kill because he has such a lower toughness rating now. The new gang rating for the Sleeping Dogs is at 2,724 points, and their current record is now at 4 4 wins as well as 3 losses. So this one's a pretty short battle report, ladies and gentlemen. Not much going on because it's a quick shootout scenario. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is always invaluable as always. And also check us out on Google Plus as well as Facebook and Instagram for all the latest and greatest with our hobby and what we're doing for our channel. That's good to do for this one, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you guys in the next one from next week, Sunday, when we talk about our fantasy week. You guys take it easy, keep classy. We'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace out.